cage for hours. Please.
Greetings and salutations. This is Cage's Kiss, the Ultimate Cage podcast, where we discuss each of the National Treasure's cinematic masterpieces and his life. We also try to glean whatever kernels of wisdom we can from his character that week. My name is Linda, but this week, my name is Cheese Rachowski, a representative for Spirit Systems.
And I'm Donnie, the Spirit of America.
Oh, jeez.
I am Dr. Lillian Cornell. There is a problem with your toilet. Or I am Adrian, and I cannot be arrested.
Diplomatic community.
What the hell are you doing here? Haven't you heard? Cage's Kiss fell from Apple charts and all our chuds can't put it back together again. Broke, not reliable, not trustworthy, can't stand up to Joe Rogan. Podcasters watching porn and researching Cage and Cage films. Best and brightest quit and retired. What in the name of Jesus Christ nailed to the cross are you doing here? Because you heard the call. That's why. Your future spread out before you like a cruise ship buffet. You were listening in a classroom, listening in a kitchen, listening in a gym, and you heard the call. For some, it was adventure. For some, mystique. For all, it was Nicolas Cage, and you heard the call, and it was the call of duties.
Can I pass you so I can go to the bathroom?
And love of
I'm so
comedy. Why? Because you have values.
I do?
Yeah, we're talking about Dying of the Light.
What? Is that like a movie or something, Linda? What is that?
Hey, that's a pretty good video game.
What is that? What, Alan Wake?
No, Dying in the Light. I enjoyed playing that this week.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you sure it was an actual game and it wasn't just the...
Well, there was a
Dementia?
lot of flashes and a lot of things about brain aneurysm, but I fought and killed a lot of zombies.
Isn't that the one where Picard's getting tortured by the Romulans and he keeps seeing the flashy lights and stuff?
Yes, and we have to debate how many lights we saw.
Yeah, it turned out it was one headlight.
Oh, God damn it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
People
Dying
at
of the
home,
Light.
yeah.
Aptly named because the poet who wrote the poem "Do Not Go Gently Into That Good Night," Dylan Thomas, actually he wrote it for his father because his father was suffering from dementia, and he was basically telling him, don't, just fight it and keep going for me and don't like give in to it. But in this case,
and then his father said, "Petey, is that you? I have enough newspapers."
In this case, I think it was more about the fact the light was dying above them, because when the director redid this and called it dark, I think that follows after the dying of the light. So, yeah, you gotta get off your ass and replace the fucking light bulb.
Followed by Darker
Paul
Than Amber.
Schrader,
Yeah. This is
wrote
Mr.
it
Schrader
and
again.
directed it.
It's a Paul Schrader joint.
Yes. Yeah.
This is
coming
not the
back.
first Paul Schrader joint that was taken away from him and then redone by others.
I actually
The
was
Exorcist
hoping this
4.
was Paul Schaefer.
Or Pauly Shore. But we all saw Exorcist 4, the theatrical version that Randy Harlan redid with the CGI bullshit in it, and then his cut Dominion, which is a little dull.
Yeah.
Now
He also wrote Taxi Driver, Raging Bull,
the Yakuza, Rolling Thunder, Last Temptation of Christ, Bringing Out the Dead, and he directed American Gigolo, which I will defend to the end of time. And Hardcore, he did Hardcore. That was his first movie directing with George C. Scott. The movie's bitchin'. If you haven't seen it, it's a very spiritual successor to Taxi Driver. Turn it off. Yeah. George C. Scott never overacted. Everybody else just underacts. He also did another Cage movie. He did Dog Eat Dog after this, which I've seen, and preserves a lot more of his vision. They were very insistent on that. So there's two cuts of Dying of the Light.
Mm-hmm.
And the dark one is Schrader using low-grade work print DVDs to try to reassemble what his vision was. and I don't think it quite makes it.
No.
From what the cinematographer said, apparently the original shoot, there was a lot of subjective camera and colored lighting and color filters on the lenses, and then the producers digitally removed all of that. And so the director's cut, Dark, tries to restore it, doesn't quite make it just because Schrader doesn't really have the tools. Oddly enough, the director's cut is 10 minutes shorter.
I noticed that among other things.
Because it's got that what Schrader calls an aggressive editing technique, where scenes are consolidated and montaged. I think he was trying to do sort of an early '90s Oliver Stone, sort of JFK Natural Born Killers kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got.
Or maybe like the Scorsese version of Cape Fear kind of thing. Because both of those like very very heavy on the moving camera and the colored lighting and shit like that.
Well, and the ending's totally different, isn't it?
A lot.
There's in the ending of the Paul Schrader cut, it's anybody's guess.
Yeah.
On the end of the producer's Lionsgate straight to video version, just what happened. It's just you don't care.
Yeah. Exactly.
A lot of critics were shitting on this for conflicting tones, and the fact that like sometimes it's kind of art house, sometimes it's kind of a drama, and other times it's like an out and out action movie.
Yeah.
And the producers seem to be wanting to push the out and out action movie aspect of this. which it isn't, because if they wanted that, they needed to go shoot more scenes. It's not.
There was a lot of shouting, so I mean that's
you're right.
action.
Yeah. I'm in Diamond Tuesdays, and my patty melt is too dry. And wait, calm down. Which Ruby Tuesdays you're at? I am at Emerald Tuesdays, and when are you gonna get here already? I can smoke where I want to smoke.
This whole country's smoking.
I think I have enough encyclopedias.
Now, was this also Anton Yelchin's last film?
No. He kicked the bucket 2 years later after getting run over by his own Jeep.
Yeah,
that's a respectful way.
And he had some movie. That's what happened.
Yeah.
But
I'm just look. Not to be disrespect, but Anton Yelchin was born in Soviet Russia in 1989. He was substitute Chekhov, though, and in Soviet Russia, your Jeep runs over you.
God damn it.
There was a lawsuit. It was tragic. Yeah, there was a recall. Jeep fucked up. The recall was actually in the works before he died, but it was too slow. Yeah. They're like, fuck, a high-profile death. How are we going to sell Jeeps now?
It was actually adorable that he kept making himself sound gruff in this movie.
That's right.
I know you're trying, but come on.
Wait, what are you talking about? I'm in the CIA. I'm going to come get this man some food at Ruby Tuesdays.
I mean, it's not... Well,
Never
it is
mind
kind of
that I'm
disrespectful,
Chekhov.
but it's purposely so, from my point at least. It's like you have two actors trying to play past their ages that they're supposed to be, I think.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like you have Cage playing old man dementia Cage, and you have Anton Yelchin playing someone who's supposed to be in a much older role. He just has a baby face.
Yeah. He just
totally has a baby face.
Yeah.
Had.
And now he's dead.
God damn it.
No, somebody was telling me about him the other week, and I was watching this. I'm like, hey, who's that guy? I'm going to look him up. Like, wait a minute. This is that dead guy that was in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And eventually we're going to have to cover it, but there's a documentary about him that is narrated by Cage. So
it was a little bit creepy, right? Because I actually have a rental car right now because my car's in the shop because I was in a fucking collision back in December. And I'm sitting back here, like researching this shit, and I read about Yelchin, and I'm like, oh shit, car related death. And then, just like on a completely different track, because I'm watching other things. I'm watching Hollywood Shuffle, and I wind up reading about fucking Sam Kinison. Yeah. Sam Kinison, who also has a vehicle death, fucking got hit head on by a drunk driver. And then I'm like, oh, I need something to lighten my mood. I'll read about Bill Hicks. Death from cancer. I should stop reading biography information entirely now. Fuck this.
Just stop.
Yeah. Apparently life sucks and then you die, people. That's the message.
And speaking of Bill Hicks, I've got book from Carlo that I've been meaning to read for a while, but the one of our friends, the C Word podcast, actually they covered, I think it may have been their first episode or one of the first ones, but they covered the conspiracy of Bill Hicks being oh fuck, why can't I think of his name right now?
What do people think that he got murdered by Dennis Leary or something so he could absorb his soul?
Maybe.
What? It's funny when I do it.
Donnie, you're gonna have to edit this.
No.
Oh, that the conspiracy theory is that Alex Jones is Bill Hicks.
Oh my! Is that why Alex Jones is a living joke? You know, if you take the glasses off him. Speaking of important and professional, on December 5th, 2014, Dying of the Light was released. It cost $5 million and made $697,000. It had no theatrical release in the United States and went straight to video here. It did its best business in the United Arab Emirates, where it played for 2 weeks, and it opened at number 4 behind the third The Hobbit movie. The end.
Wow.
Wow.
So, yeah. It's kind of funny that the producers were trying to aggressively re-edit this, to get it a wider audience. Couldn't even get a release.
Are you calling him fat?
Yeah.
This movie had an audience?
Yeah, well, that's another good point. I read a lengthy review for this on RogerEbert.com. Post Roger Ebert's death. It's by one of his underlings or followers or whatever you want to call them, minions. And they were saying about how Paul Schrader's recent stint had all been disappointing. And while they're complaining about recent Paul Schrader, they bring up his movie Autofocus, where Greg Kinnear played Bob Crane, and it's like, wait a minute, fuck off, that was a good one. You don't know movies. Stop trying to review stuff. Go away. That's what happened. Yeah.
I guess that's another, every time we record something, I feel like I add something new to my to watch movies.
Oh, well, you talked to me long enough, you're going to get a bunch of things, I think this is why Nathan is always trying to chat me up, because it's like, I need a movie to get into. I'm like, okay. And he's like, which ones did you recommend again? I'm like, I don't know. I named the dozens.
So, yeah, I've got a picture. I'll have to post it, but there's a picture of Anton Yelchin, Schrader, Cage.
Oh, with their shirts.
Yeah, the executive producer, Ruffin. That's my attempt at pronouncing it. They're all wearing a shirt with the non-disparity.
Yeah, right. Because of their contract, they're
contract.
not allowed to speak bad about the movie while it's being promoted, and so they just point that out. Like, yep, can't say anything. We hate it, but we can't say it. Yeah, no. The director of Drive was going to do this originally in the Neon Demon. Yeah, that Refn guy. And it was at one point it was going to star Harrison Ford.
Yeah, which was kind of upsetting because before I read that, he was actually my choice for Face Off.
Hey, that director and star. I mean, that sounds like a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
In fact,
totally.
and that director, before he did Drive and came to wider notice in the United States, he did a thing with speaking of remembering names, he did a movie called Fear X with John Turturro.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
And I think it was mistitled, frankly, but excellent revenge or attempted revenge picture.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been pivotal in Schrader agreeing to have him to direct this, back when that was going to happen. So,
well, I read that in the Refn's version, it was also going to have Channing Tatum.
All right.
But sorry.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
We're all sorry. So this was financed by a guy named David Grovik. David Grovik, independent financier, and he fancies himself a director. He did a movie with John Cusack and Robert De Niro called The Bagman. Bag, B-A-G, not bad. But it is a terrible movie. It's one of those many things dumped to Netflix that I wound up seeing. And in that movie, in one scene, Robert De Niro basically beats the face off his secretary and then gives her money for plastic surgery.
As
And that's not even the plot. That's just a random scene.
Well, yeah. I guess when he was talking about like his inspiration for writing the screenplay,
Yeah.
Schrader said that he'd been feeling for a while that it was time to write an old guy movie. It's like, well, yeah, this is kind of it.
Yeah. He's being
But,
old.
One thing I really liked too is that he said, quote, the symptomology of FTD is inappropriate reactions, sensory misperceptions, mood changes, personality changes. Once Nick read that and pointed it out to me, it was like an all-star batter seeing a slow curveball coming right across the center of the plate, because those symptoms are in Mr. Cage's wheelhouse, and he was able to knock that ball out of the park.
Are they
And
referring
I
to
can't
cricket?
agree more. Like, honestly, I mean, like it or hate it, he's
well
I think,
cast.
Cage
Yeah.
did a great job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh.
What the hell are you doing here, Donnie? Watching movies, looking at pornography.
Well, yeah.
You have values.
That's to bring it up about Cage's character though. One of the interesting things about watching the Schrader cut as opposed to the video cut, is that in that one it sort of reveals like all the prejudices of the character and all the problems with him. You know, like about how he
Yes.
represents very much the obsessive jingoistic Americanisms and the racism.
Yeah.
And he uses the
Well,
word
it
raghead.
also went a little bit more into what was
Mhm.
going on with his disease as well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because like I don't know about you guys, but the first time I watched the Dying of the Light version, I thought like there's a chance of this being like an unreliable narrator,
Yeah.
and maybe he's just imagining all of this shit.
Right.
And I mean, he does at one point say that Anton Yelchin's character, he felt his jacket and it
felt like dog fur. Yeah.
which is a symptom of the FTD, but at the same time, it kind of indicates also that like this could all just be in his fucking head.
Yeah, this premise is very pregnant with potential to be like a great like hallucinatory drama. You know, or
Yeah,
or,
and,
or
like, the
hallucinatory
beginning's
like
really promising
yeah,
too.
yeah. There's
Because, like-
that's part of why this is so hard to review. It's like, man, this could have
Yeah.
been so great.
Yeah. Well, like in the beginning, they start off with like kind of like cutting the his speech, his burner speech, which I kind of gave in the beginning, and him being basically held and tortured and beaten because this character Banir is trying to get the name of a spy from him. And you know, like if you watch it like that, you start thinking like with the theatrical cut that yeah, this could be something that's all just going on in his mind. Maybe because they show him getting a cricket bat and hitting Cage's character like really hard upside the head with it. So, you know, this could just be like,
Well-
you know, he just got knocked really
well-
fucking hard in the head.
What were you gonna
So-
say, Donnie?
I
I know
You
you don't
might
like the
be-
trippy movies as much.
No, I do. It's just you also have to draw a line between wanting the surreal and getting the surreal.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, but you have to know what the hell you're doing. I mean,
Yeah,
I
and it's
feel
like in
you
the
you
dark
have to
version
you
of
have,
it, you get a
yeah.
little bit more of what you're kind of talking about,
li-
but just
Mhm.
a really lackluster version of.
Well, let me just ask
no, I
though. Let me
felt like-
before we go any further though. What order did you guys watch these cuts in?
I watched the theatrical and then dark.
Donnie,
Yeah, I did the same.
you
But-
watched it. Okay, I did the reverse actually. I watched Dark and then
Mm.
I watched the theatrical version, which was really weird too because the well, we call it theatrical version, the Lionsgate version, let's call it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because it was weird to me that there were more scenes at the end of that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because and the scenes don't even make much sense. But I mean, kind of going off of what you were saying, Donnie, was that like you were saying
Make it
that,
like a high
the,
asshole.
Pretty much.
the dark cut has like more about what's going on in his mind and the symptoms, and I think the dark cut makes it more obvious. Like, no, this isn't going on in his head. He's actually it's kind of a tragedy because this guy has, like, they kept describing it like his white whale.
Yeah.
And he just wants to catch Banir, but
Well, and they're both
he's
broken
also
men.
Yeah.
too,
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
and-
let's state that for the people who haven't and will never see this, is that this movie is about two dying people squaring off against each other. It's Cage has the brain disease, which is killing him, and he's after Banir, who has a rare form of anemia,
Yeah.
which is also killing him. And that's how he's able to track down Banir, because of this one wonder drug that he winds up trying to get when he's hiding out in like North Africa.
Yeah.
and the guy who played the character Mboy, his name is Tomiwa Edun. He said, quote, "It's a classic sort of suspense thriller, and I think on some level all the characters are raging against the dying of the light." And that's what I like, how I felt about it too. Like what you were saying is that they're all they're all like
Damaged.
basically dying or something, like slipping.
Yeah, well, this is another one of those stories too, for good or for ill, where there's sort of no baseline, where you get people who are caught up in this other world, like in the shadows, as
Yeah.
it were, and so they are all
Mhm.
terrible. They are all like
Yeah.
objectively terrible people. Like what they are actually doing, what they mean to do, and what they have done are all awful.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of looked at like both cuts of this. I kind of prefer seeing the theatrical cuts of films before seeing extended or a different take of it. And it's like, especially like we kept going back and forth on a couple episodes before, the Exorcist 4, Exorcist Dominion director's cut,
Right.
all the shit that went on with that, and how people were like, oh, this can be so cool, we're gonna love this thing. It still had shitty CGI fucking dogs. It still had a shitty story. It was
I
mildly
think
different.
The
but-
limitation. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think the limitation that we keep finding with these is that Schrader is a great writer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But less so as a director.
Yes.
He's not as bad a director as, say, David Mamet.
No.
And I'm not really shitting on
Sorry,
Mamet, but
Mark.
Mamet can't direct actors for film.
No.
But I think Schrader's ideas need like a Martin Scorsese or somebody else to make them work better, as films.
Yeah,
Even though Schrader has directed some good movies.
Yeah, there are directors like that, and it's kind of like Blady and Friedkin on The Exorcist. Without the other, it likely would not have been as good, because sometimes you need someone to kind of suppress your vision into a more marketable version of that,
Yeah.
while still making it something in their style. And that's why one of my favorite directors' alternate versions is the Legion cut of Exorcist 3. Because Brad Dourif is just fucking amazing in that. But you get to see
Yeah.
a lot more of his
amazing
shit
in
in
everything.
there. And it's still essentially the same story, same movie, just a wild variation of showing you what happens when the man who wrote the film and directed the film would have done if nobody said, okay, let's put the reins on you and pull you back a little bit. Sometimes it really does help. And like in this
Mhm.
movie, when watching it, the theatrical and then going into the dark cut, it's almost like he tried putting a little too much into it. And it
Well-
just feels like he was trying to be a little bit more weirder. Like some of the stuff that didn't make sense to me, it's like watching the opening of that film and the whole brain scans. the only thing it kept reminding me of was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's like the only thing missing from those credits and scenes is just the random mechanical cranking sounds and a light bulb going off. And
Actually, that was one of the things I really liked about the Schrader cut, about the dark cut, is
Yeah.
how it has the medical shots of the brain and of the blood cells for each character.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because that was straight out of Akira Kurosawa's Ikiru, which I think is his best
Yes.
movie, with Takashi Shimura playing the guy dying of stomach cancer. And
I
it's
still
like,
prefer
and
Ran.
I mean, Rand's great. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
me too.
Kurosawa, most of them are really great.
Yeah.
True.
But that also kind of set me up to stumble a little bit. Like, oh my God, you're referencing one of my favorite films. You're referencing the movie that I often refer to as the second best movie ever made. And then what follows doesn't quite measure up.
At all.
Oh God, yeah. So this the fun. Although honestly, this is not the worst unreliable narrator movie I saw this week.
No.
I watched a lot of movies this week. Some were worse, some were better. Like I watched Head Office with Judge Reinhold. That was actually better.
Ooh.
Oh, my.
Sorry, it was more solid execution. But no, I finally got through After Last Season. Also, if you've never seen that one, that's one of the new worst movies ever made.
Good to know.
Yeah, and that's not a recommendation.
When Schrader was talking about Nicolas Cage, I really, really, really like this quote, and I feel like he totally encapsulated him
Yeah.
perfectly. He says, quote, Nick Cage is a national resource. I mean, there's no actor quite like him. That leads him into some places that have seemed ridiculous at some times, but it also leads him into places that no one else can go into. And I think that's Cage in
Haggis!
in a nutshell.
Speaking of places
really
no
like
one else can go, Irene Jacob was in this as the glamorous Romanian French girlfriend. She was in the Trois Colors series, U.S. Marshals, and that terrible belated Orson Welles adaptation, The Big Brass Ring.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's fucking. So they took an Orson Welles screenplay that he wrote in 1980 and wanted to do, but couldn't get funding because it involved homosexuality. And then George Hickenlooper and FX Feeney are like, "Hey, we'll just take this. Oh yeah, Orson Welles, great guy, never heard of him," and they entirely rewrote the screenplay.
Ah, jeez.
Yeah, and they made this really boring movie with William Hurt, and you get to the end of it, it's like, well, you took a screenplay by one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, and you shat a fucking Hallmark movie out of it. Fuck
I
you
don't
very
know why.
much.
I just don't care for William Hurt. There's just something about
Is
him
it
that
just young William Hurt or old William Hurt or
His penis.
William Hurt's erect penis in that movie Body Heat? Is that what it was?
obviously.
I don't know. Did you see Mr. Brooks with Kevin Costner, where he is Kevin Costner's like inner
Yes,
personality? I don't care who you are. That movie was fun. And Dan
And of
Cook
course I
dies.
prefer John Hurt.
Well, everybody prefers John Hurt. You're not going to beat that. So we
when he was talking about his character,
Yeah.
Banir, Alexander Karim said, quote, he's a former freedom fighter, disillusioned philosopher who fought for his people and then was corrupted by his own beliefs and turned into the oppressor. And like, the way that some of the actors are talking about their characters, I was thinking like, we didn't see that. We didn't get to
that would have
see
been
with
that would have been
these-
really neat if you used that in the movie.
Exactly.
Well, the scene where Lake and Bernier square off against each other, which I think should have been the entire movie, by the way.
Yes.
The scene where Lake and Bernier square off, it is somewhat interesting because they actually do discuss the origins of jihadism. You know, they talk about the philosopher who in the 40s visited the United States and decided that we were all a bunch of promiscuous perverts. And then, went back to the Middle East and is like, hey, we need a Muslim thing that's like Muslimer. And conservative Muslims are like, I'm scared of this. Don't do this. And he's like, no, fuck you. You're not a real Muslim. I am. And the Egyptians are like, maybe we should just
Thank
execute
you
this
for
guy.
that stirring rendition.
Well, I read up on him. While I was watching the movie, I'd read up on him before, but I can't pronounce his last name. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm pulling a Linda.
When he talked about him, at first I thought he said YouTube,
Yeah, he's got a name like YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was like, do what now? But yeah, I'm a dumb American, so just ignore me.
And you sweet Charlie? What? What did you say? Oh my God. So this is the strangest movie I've ever seen about the Culinary Institute of America. I mean, nobody cooks or anything. I just don't get it.
Well, Donnie, were you able to find any
Yes.
reviews?
Yeah, there was actually some interesting stuff I had to go and research because apparently when people were getting this, they were mad at Amazon, among other places you could rent this, but especially Amazon, because either you got the movie or you got a documentary called Dying of the Light.
Oh,
And
shit.
people were not happy about this.
Yeah, apparently the title has been applied to a few things. I think there's an unrelated book, you know. I guess there's a
Yeah.
song, you know. Stupid ass Amazon.
But I was able to culminate a few okayish ones. Nothing amazing, but
Okay. That's just
I-
par for the course with this movie.
exactly.
Dying for the
Let's
light. Nothing
see.
amazing.
Couldn't connect with the character. Too much choppy editing to add quasi excitement. Don't like stories where yelling takes the place of real drama. Pass.
They don't like yelling? They didn't enjoy the movie Daylight with Sylvester Stallone? What's wrong with them?
I know, right? Jesus Christ.
You talked!
Here we have it. I only made it partway through this one and don't plan on going back. Bad script, bad directing, bad acting, you choose. It was just hard to sit and watch. The plot has been done a lot, except they tried to add a devastating disease that has broken many a family and turn it into a plot twist. That got dark.
They're knocking the good part.
Yeah, but I do. My
I guess
choice.
that shows who the producers were editing this for, though, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. But my favorite choice of all these reviews was if you have nothing else to do. By nothing else, I mean brush your teeth, take a shower, open your door, turn the light switch on, then off, accept a call from your mother, loan money to someone who will never pay you back, then watch this movie.
Your mom's lame. Don't take calls from her. She's a bitch. Remember that time in
She's
high
a
school when she wouldn't
bitch.
let you borrow the car and you didn't get that hot date you wanted? Your mom's a bitch. She don't know nothing about nothing.
That's right.
Your mom's dumb. That's right. In the Lionsgate cut, he puts his finger in his eye.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, oddly enough, the Lionsgate cut's also gorier.
Yeah. I actually like that, but at the same time, it's like in the Lionsgate version, it's like he faces off with him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, hey, Anton Yelchin, yeah, I totally killed that dude, totally." And then, oh no,
And he was
we're
like
getting shot
screaming
at.
so hard when I was like killing him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, baby, nobody ever killed me like you before." And I'm like, "I know, right? Yeah, because my
And then
knife
I mushroom
belt is so
stamped him.
big." Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, well, now it's extra personal. And I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna totes kill you now.
Yeah, the Lionsgate cut. It's like, wait a minute. So you're like, never mind, I ain't gonna kill you, and then later on you're like, okay, I guess I'll kill you.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what made
like,
me
what the
laugh so
fuck?
hard. It's like, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna walk away. It's like, all right, sure, that's
Yeah,
cool.
it's like- it's
oh my
like,
god,
yeah,
a poolside shooting. It's like now I gotta gorge your eyes
Right.
out and put my dick through your eye hole.
It's like, oh, you didn't want to do the Nevada Smith ending. Okay, you're above all that forgiveness shit.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you terrorist! I should have killed you when I had the chance.
And you scratch your head like, wait a minute, is there a point anymore? Or and then he is in a car
Yeah.
accident, and that's how he. Okay, now he's a tombstone, and they're gonna bring back that speech about how he's got some values. What?
Yeah.
What? What? Just what the
Yeah.
fuck? Whereas in the Paul Schrader cut, they're having the meeting, and his dementia kicks into high gear, and everything
Yeah.
gets fuzzy, and we have no idea what happened.
And then
And
there's
he
a-
doesn't have
then
any
you see
idea
the
what happened either.
tombstone.
Yeah, but we know he died.
You know, it kind of reminded me. There was a movie Oh God, who was the fucking star in that? It was Sean Penn, and it
yeah,
was a
Sean
movie
Penn,
called
yeah.
"This Must Be the Place." It's a really,
yeah.
really weird what the fuck movie about an aging rock star from the '80s. Then the only good thing about it that also makes it really qualify as fun weird is it has the lead singer from Talking Heads in the movie. But the whole thing goes
Shit, yeah.
from I'm trying
Butter.
to reconnect with my daughter and be a better person and be a different person to move on from my former image to I'm going to go hunt down an old man that could potentially be a Nazi. And he finds the man in the middle of nowhere and he has a gun to kill him. But instead, if I remember correctly, I could have been watching a lot of porn at the time too, which is very likely. He strips him naked and it looks like he's going to shoot him. But then he decides, you know what? No. And then he just walks off, goes back home, and he gets his hair cut, and he looks like a normal person and smiles up at his mom and makes her happy, and the movie ends.
That is so random.
It is. And that's kind of how it felt when Cage went through all this trouble of if this really happened, using all these resources to go in undercover as the doctor just to say, yeah, hey, I'm not the doctor and I knocked your friend out. And I just wanted to see your face. Bye.
Well, this
And
was
totally
really
going
awkward.
rogue.
Yeah.
You do not want to talk about the social justice? His name is Robert Paulson. I gotta go.
I'll
had a
place
little
$3.59
accident.
on that refrigerator. I know it's got to be less than $400.
$1.
Honestly, when he was reciting all the numbers, I kept thinking, "Are you like practicing
Yeah.
for Price is Right? Is like is this what you're doing? Like 75, 12,
Well,
132."
It was
Like, there's-
he was
so
like
he-
practicing a monologue from
he
Rain
goes
Man.
in alone to face off this guy, his former torturer from 22 years
Yeah.
ago, and they're both broken shells of men, but they both still kill people apparently.
Yeah.
And you know, but Anton Yelchin is waiting for him in the car. But there's a scene earlier; they have to go to Romania to contact the doctor. It's a side thing, right? In the part in Romania when the contact is meeting the doctor, Anton Yelchin goes and chases him out on the ice and kills him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But while he's chasing
Yeah,
him,
like slices his throat.
I would,
Yeah,
he fucking cuts it. Yeah, it's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
But you
But
don't
when-
get to
what-
see the blood in the next shot because his neck's completely covered up.
Yeah,
after.
yeah, that was a
Yeah.
oopsie. Yeah, yeah, we read it in jam packets. But no, when that was happening, I was thinking like, oh my god, Anton Yelchin is gonna die, and the whole thing's gonna go sideways, and Cage is gonna have to go in, knowing his brain is fucking melting.
Mhm,
And I'm thinking like, this is gonna be so metal, except they didn't do that.
Nope.
So I'm thinking like the good version of this movie has to have that scene in it early on in which the Anton Yelchin character like gets killed, and Cage has to
Yeah.
go in and try to figure out what is real and what is not. And I
Yeah.
figure like for it to really do what it's supposed to do, at least an hour of the movie would be the Cage character facing off against his nemesis. It would basically be a conversation.
Lionsgate cut was so fucking stupid because it's like his dementia kicked in and he got into a car accident with a truck.
Yeah.
Shit like
That was
that,
he
like,
died of
what
the
the fuck?
headlights. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just.
I'd like to
don't
point
know.
out that all
was
the Africa
pretty goddamn
scenes in
lame.
this one are Australia again.
Yeah.
Cage can't help but speak Australian.
So I guess this is my time for. I want his clothes off. Clothes off.
You European woman.
Did they not take off their clothes? No. This is how we do in Romania. We just take this off here, one wooden shoe at a time.
It must have been too cold, so
Yeah.
like everybody.
I
Was dressed
couldn't
fully
find the
dressed.
hotel to undress in, and I got really confused every time the sun goes down, and I thought I was at a urinal, but it might have been a drinking fountain. I need help right now.
The Lionsgate version also Cage's character stays around and talks with Michelle.
Yeah.
Is that her name? Yeah.
His former girlfriend,
And
yeah.
he comes back to the hotel room, and Anton Yelchin's character is in bed. He's got his head on the pillow, and he kind of looks nervous. I was thinking, like, Wait a minute, where's this going now?
You're thinking of that one Super Dickory cover right there.
Oh,
baby,
my,
you smell
what-
so good. Oh man,
Where the
you're
hell's
wearing
this
that
movie
dog fur
going?
teddy again. Oh man.
We're sending you with Milton Schultz. We want him back unspoiled.
Wait a second, Mr. Lake. This is wrong. No, this is so right.
You're man's best friend.
What did the director
Wait,
say,
who do you
mean
think
when
I
he
am
said
right
he wanted
now?
me back unspoiled? Oh, he meant no raping you. What? Like, are we at Applebee's?
Let's not have an incident like we had in West Africa in Cage. No raping. Fuck you. No, seriously, you have a brain disease. You won't know who you're raping. Fuck you.
Should I bring my penny loafers?
Oh, Jesus.
Were you guys able to come up with a good face-off cast?
I've got two. There's plenty of room for more because, like I said, this had the potential to be a really great movie. Maybe a couple of them. Yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
Well, I want you to go first.
Whoa.
Yeah, Donnie.
Well, fine. I actually went serious with this too because I'm like, how could this have been made better? Or realistically, who should have made this? And director-wise, we got Jerry Bruckheimer, and it's produced by Steven Spielberg. So for Evan Lake, we have the ever-lovable Tom Hanks. For
Oh.
Milton Schultz,
Oh.
we have Lance Henriksen. And
That's right.
for
She's already talking like
Mohammed
that.
Banir, we have Oded Fair.
All right.
Professor Lance Hendrickson.
Yeah.
No, John, not you.
Oh God, John, no, not you. Oh, that's such a weird thing to scream when I'm being shot by someone that's obviously not you.
Maybe I should have made more of an assessment before being killed.
Jennifer 8 is a wonderful film.
Did I hear somebody implicating me? Was I getting implicated? Oh no, blood on my hands. Oh no, I gotta go in the lamb.
Who you got, Adrian?
Well, I got two of them.
Oh.
One of the ones I envisioned pretty strongly is a 1966 black and white version starring Rod Steiger as Lake and Omar Sharif as Banir, with Marlena Dietrich as the Lost Lady Love and Robert Weber as the upstart boss. This version would be photographed by veteran cinematographer James Wong Howe and would be directed by John Frankenheimer. I'm picturing a lot of center-focused photography and a lot of subjectivity, like using rear screen projection and such.
All right.
And the other potential version I envisioned is a 1979 version with Paul Newman and Hector Elizondo, directed by Bernardo Bertolucci, with Donald Sutherland as the Chekhov guy.
Ooh.
And both these versions would center on what I said before, where the bulk of the film is the two characters in the room.
I like
I
it.
dig it.
Yeah, it could work.
For mine, I have as Michelle. I have Lucy Lawless,
Of course.
and I don't know why she just like I didn't even have to think about it. I was just like, who would play Lucy Lawless?
That's how
Okay.
Lucy Lawless happened in the first place. Nobody thought about
Not so lawless now.
it.
And as Mohammed Banir, I have which, speaking of which, the actor is actually Swedish. He's one of our people.
I saw that he was in a
Um,
Swedish series. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was he's from Sweden. Anyway,
You should have used that sexy accent.
hell yeah. But as Muhammad, in my version, I have Lupita Nyong'o.
No,
And
Lupita.
as Milton, I have John Cho
Okay.
from Harold and Kumar. As Evan Lake, I have Kathy Bates. Why? Just fucking because.
Why not? Yeah.
Exactly. I fucking love her. She's my favorite actress, and she deserves to be put in there. Director, writer, I couldn't decide between is it I think it's Juan Piquer
Valdez?
Simon.
Oh.
I know the director from Pieces.
Oh.
Or
Oh,
Stuart Gordon, like we were just
Peter
talking about him
Simon
earlier.
there. Okay, the guy who did Supersonic Man and Pod People.
Yeah, and
Pieces was his best movie, though. No, you're right. Like any movie where the stinger is a corpse reaching up and crushing a guy's nuts is a classic.
Yeah.
So thank you, Pieces,
So-
for making us laugh about love again.
I want one of them to direct this and to write it. I think that would give us the story we deserve.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you know, like
Or y'all
if
Sorry, go ahead.
with infinite options, like you could have had a Coppola version or even an Andrzej Tarkovsky version, and it still would have worked out.
Oh god.
true.
I know. You guys are thinking like, it was long enough. We don't need a 3-hour version.
No, I mean, well, speaking of the Coppola versions, like I still prefer that version as our father did as well with the Godfather, when they put all the flashbacks in on the sequel to the Godfather as the beginning part of the film.
Oh, the 1902 to 59 complete epic cut. Okay,
Yes,
where it's all in order.
yes.
I started to watch that cut. I'll admit I didn't see the whole thing, but our video store did have it.
Yeah, it just seems people want to kind of forget about that.
Yeah, well, there's also another version. Remember where they have the quote, "The Godfather: A Novel for Television," where they break it up with
Yes.
chapter headers and shit.
Yeah,
Like the Godfather's a little bit like Blade Runner, you know, where it's just like
Which
let's
cut?
just
That's
let's
exactly
just
what I
have a
was
million cuts of this, you know. Well, they made another cut of Apocalypse Now too.
Yeah, and then
But when I'm
Spielberg's
thinking of
like, I'm not going to
Coppola-
be outdone by them. I'm going to do 5 cuts of fucking the Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Remember though, there's basically 2 Coppolas though. There's actually the more reined in Coppola who made The Conversation, and that's more of what I'm thinking of. You know,
Yeah.
like or Dementia 13. That movie's fucking
Not
awesome.
the Cotton Club Coppola.
Fishy, fishy in a brook. Daddy's got you on a hook.
Would you guys judge me if I tell you I've never seen one of the Godfathers like the whole way through?
You've never seen any of the 3?
Nope.
Well, I mean that's good if it means the third one. You know?
I
Good-
highly question this.
Well, you've never
No,
seen a whole
I've
James
never
Bond
seen-
movie either.
No, yeah.
So we have to
Or at
tie
least
you
not
up
so much,
and make
like,
you watch
as
some
far as I can
shit. You
remember.
know
Yeah,
Uh,
like
I s-
you know,
well, wasn't that college?
what? Oh
Wasn't
wait,
that just
wait.
college?
No, that was back when I tie you up and make you watch shit that I made. No, now we have to. Now I can
Yeah.
show you some real shit.
this
Yeah.
is just gonna be like you, Clockwork Orange style.
Yeah.
I better please turn it off.
What's all this about sin? But speaking of indulgent
as long as
shit
I'm not
that
licking
no
boots.
one will ever see, though, I learned about a movie recently that I think I should probably never watch, but may wind up. Anthony Newley, the singer and sometimes film star, made a movie that he directed in 1969. And it was called oh god, what the fuck was it? It was like it had one of the longest titles I've ever seen on a film. Oh, yeah. No, that was right. It was Will Hieronymus Merkin ever get over Mercy Hump and find true happiness?
Wow.
Oh.
It is a musical that was originally rated X. It has his wife of the time, Joan Collins, in it, and it has his character, who is based on himself, lusting after a 15-year-old.
Wow.
Newley
Actually-
is naked in many scenes, including musical numbers, and most of the musical numbers play out in front of 2 toddlers on a beach who are his own children. So I've seen Anthony Newley's
Oh.
ass just from a clip from this movie.
You said long ass movie title, and the only thing that came to mind is Big Gus. What's the fuss?
Oh, come on, that's not even as long as Sweet Sweetback's badass song.
That takes up a whole font.
They bled your mama, they bled your papa, but they didn't bleed you, Sweetback.
Or it's a mad world.
Well, remember,
Yeah.
there's the Englishman who went up a hill and climbed down a mountain. There's the incredibly strange creatures who stopped living and became mixed up zombies. There's Dr. Strangelove,
Yeah.
how I learned to stop worrying and love the bomb. And there's a European one like Late Night Summer Train with Smell of Camphor or something like that.
There's one I could use to top that, but I don't want to do it because I kind of want this podcast to continue on. But let's just say,
Dear
it is
listeners, if we're boring you,
aggressively-
please weigh in.
aggressively offensive.
Well, I'm impressed. All right, if you're calling it aggressively offensive, I'm impressed.
Yeah,
But-
so much so
but-
I'm gonna type it out in our chat just so
Just
you
in
can
just
see.
in terms of length, though,
Gosh,
is it longer than the title of that one Chumbawamba album?
Oh,
Do you know the Chumbawamba album
know
I'm talking
what you're
about? The one where the title begins "The
Yeah.
boy bands have won," and the title
I
is so long
haven't-
it takes up the entire cover of the CD.
There we go.
Okay.
I mean, judge me all you want.
Oh,
but
oh,
I
I
really
yeah, I
like
saw the shit out of that one,
Chumbawamba
Donnie.
until then.
Yeah,
That was an amazing movie, though.
Oh.
that movie was great. Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
Well, you know, on the Spike Lee scale, it's not
Oh my
racist
God.
because that was a black cast.
No.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, jeez.
It's a real movie. It's a real movie, Linda. It's really short. You could see it. I think it was made in West Berlin in like the early '80s,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure that was real semen.
Yeah. And it's got an amazing
Oh.
description of the film. You should actually look up and read because it's very informative.
Guess I'll have to now.
And
Now, I
on
remember-
Twitter, you can take guesses at what movie we're talking about. Because I would love to see you
Please
post that
don't.
title on Twitter.
Please don't.
Yeah, but I saw the shit out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can at Unreal Goals.
Hashtag Cage's Kiss.
Cage's kiss is over.
Hashtag Cage's
As
Kiss. What
Cage's
to
Kiss,
watch.
we infer things the other Cage podcasts can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Hashtag cancel Cage's kiss.
Aw.
Hashtag blessed.
So if I can bring this back to Cage,
What? I bet Cage saw that movie too. He was playing with his Cobra and he watched the movie. Yeah. He was like, that movie is badass! I would have spent $300 million to remake it. No! He's gonna play Slash. It's not a stretch.
Yeah.
Anton Yelchin said, quote, I've been sort of swimming in my own excitement and inspiration every day that I'm on set and around Nick because he is truly extraordinary. And to witness him be extraordinary, take after take, and the concentration, and I guess what you'd call the intensity, it's an ability to access that at any moment because of the level of concentration.
Wow.
And it seemed to be a theme with the rest of the cast because Mr. Adun said, quote, I've just been struck by his phenomenal concentration and how he generates this energy. As the takes go on, it just grows and grows, and he gets better and better. It's astounding.
Don't let these takes go on.
So
It's
he was
time we
blinded
had
by
a
the
break from
light,
it.
wrapped up like a
Wrapped up
deuce while
like a
Cage was
deuce.
in the spotlight.
Cage got down, but he never got tight. He's gonna make it.
Like, Anton, you gotta drive forward, never in reverse. Our life's just gonna go over you.
That's right, Cage. I live my life a quarter mile at a time. I wouldn't want my baby to wait up for me.
Oh, and
Oh,
if you guys
horrible.
are actually interested in seeing the dark cut, I am sorry. It is pretty goddamn difficult.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, listeners, if we let you on, the Schrader cut is not available for profit. UCLA has it.
Yeah, and you have to watch it there. You have to view it on their campus.
Just like we did.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You gotta write your congressman, write the school, and tell them to release this cut. Hashtag release the darkness.
I did see on YouTube, actually, you could see Schrader introducing a part of the movie and describing about how he made it and his explanation for why it looks the way it looks. And it was saying like, yeah, so I made this for the historical record, you know.
It's gonna be put in a vault.
Right.
Well, isn't he teaching filmmaking himself?
I imagine
I thought
so.
he was doing, like,
Well,
a
the most
master
interesting
class.
part of that though is that in that event, Schrader admits that his cut is equally commercially problematic as the cut that got released.
Mm.
Good for
And
him.
which is true, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, you got a head on your shoulders there, Schrader.
Yeah.
Well, and if you hear him in any interviews, he kind of just sounds like, I don't know, it's the voice he has that you're kind of like, I wish you were kind of my grandpa.
He seems like a pretty real dude.
I want him to read me a bedtime story.
And then
There's
Travis
all kinds
Bickle
of people.
blew off the pimp's fingers, and he screamed and said, "I'll kill you! I'll kill you!"
like, oh wow. Then what?
But Schrader went on to do Dog Eat Dog with Cage, which I did enjoy. So I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to us doing that.
Wahoo.
Willem Dafoe is hilarious in that.
I think Willem Dafoe is just
If you watch that, you're gonna see some of your favorite murders like almost right away.
your favorite
Your most
murders.
favoriteest murders. You did her too. Like I couldn't let her live. Not after that.
Were you guys able to find any wisdom in all this?
Well, never eat at Ruby Tuesdays.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Diamond Tuesdays?
Yeah, any of those. Yeah, yeah. She would never say where she came from. Do 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 do.
Donnie?
If you bathe yourself in blood and stand out in the moonlight, it looks like ink. Yeah,
If
that's
one
about
were
it.
nude.
Why do I smell
Okay.
toast?
Come upstairs. Your mama wants you.
Every day I'm living Jacob's life.
Baby, it's cold outside.
The wisdom I was able to find is always make sure you have someone in your life that will feel obligated to take care of you when you need it. And also, don't allow yourself to be stuck in a role where you're expected to take care of Nick Cage when his brain isn't fully functioning.
Yeah, we all
Stop-
need a little
stop
Yelchin
trying to
in
put
our
a
lives.
Bib on me. God.
Damn right.
Know where the hotel's at, dumbass. Oh, you know, the only problem I got is there's too many of them. That's all. Sure.
That's right.
Two hands and only one mouth. I'm doing something of value. I'm killing this bottle
I've
right
forgotten
here.
more about this agency than
Another-
you'll ever know.
Another dead so you got your head in Obama's butthole. You're looking at his poop.
Excuse
That's
me,
all you
I'm not
see.
such a young man. Where is the toilet? There is a problem with the toilet. It won't flush.
If you just
I pulled the
transition in that moment to Borat, then the whole movie would be saved.
Exactly.
His
I
problem.
just love that whole quote. It just made me think of like something that you would learn in like remedial like language class.
When
I like
traveling
that
to North
saying. I am
Africa,
not
be
such a
aware
young
of the
man.
toilets.
Where is the toilet?
Yes, exactly. Kind of like Encino Man, where it's like the cheese is
Yes.
old and moldy. Where is the bathroom?
Where's the? There is a problem with the toilet. It won't flush.
I will
I
not
pulled
buy
the
this
chain.
record.
There
It is
something
scratched.
stuck.
My nipples explode with delight.
Aw.
You know, oddly enough, I
Yeah.
finally got a definition on borscht belt this week. That one was a little nebulous to me.
Borsky borscht.
It is in reference to in the 50s, the primarily New York City based Jewish people would vacation in the Catskills and go to clubs and see comedians like Henny Youngman, and that's where you get your borscht belt, because it's like, look, we are all of Ukrainian origin and we'll tell joke on wife. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh ha! Take wife, please. It's comedy, no?
I don't know why we were doing that.
In
but-
Soviet Russia, your
It
Jeep
worked.
run over you.
God damn it, Adrian.
Yelchin, take the wheel.
I can't help
No,
it. He
seriously,
was-
take the wheel.
He was born in '89. It was literally Soviet Russia. You understand? He made this happen.
And with that,
When you donate to Cage's Kiss.
please listen, follow, rate, and review Cage's Kiss on Apple Podcast and on Podchaser, and check out our stuff on YouTube. Also, please help us out. Adrian definitely needs it.
Yeah.
He's been having some real car
I am
shit.
no joke having
going
the
on.
financial difficulty.
So you can help us out by checking out our Patreon, and just for $1 a month, I mean, we hope for more, but, we know times are hard right now. And I mean, obviously, so even just $1 a month gets you access to all our bonus material. And we have a lot of great stuff in there, like a commentary sort of riff thing to the Color Out of Space.
We want your
Just
God damn it.
$1 a month.
donate $3,000 and send us to Kenya.
Yeah. That's the ticket. I would
Well, we
definitely
do
not
have that
refuse
level.
$3,000. That's the cost
We
of
do
my
have
car
that level where
repair.
we're doing interpretive dance.
For $5,000, I will go to Kenya and I will show Cherry 5000. All right,
Dude! No, you see, for
Premiere that for
$5,000,
people.
I would go to Kenya and I would actually show them the director's other movie. I would show Miracle Mile, but that's just me.
Oh wow!
Miracle Mile was good. What?
No, I'm just surprised. This is utilizing our money well.
See,
Oh,
look, guys. The Kenyans may have access to those movies, but we're gonna give it a really good presentation.
Yeah,
Real classy.
we're ambassadors of peace.
That's right. Yeah.
Remember, you can find Cage's Kiss on Facebook and on Twitter at Cage's Kiss. That's CAGESKISS. You can visit our website at cageskiss.com. And you can write to us at cageskiss@gmail.com. We love the emails. And we also have a P.O. box while I'm at it.
We do.
If you want to send us something like,
A bomb.
death threats or,
A dead hooker.
We
Dead
are
hooker.
open to these forms of criticism.
Ooh, send us fleshlights.
Yes. Please send your fleshlights to P.O. Box 14895, Mill Creek, Washington 98082.
And we can't stress this enough. New, not used. New.
You don't like you don't like it where they got the little veins of stuff in there in the nooks and crannies. You're like, this clitoral butterfly attachment looks a little crusty to me. I don't know if this is fresh from the factory.
Well, we will
Yes,
take
please.
used cock rings though. That's negotiable.
Any cockle Oh, and I'd love to give a shout out to one of our new listeners
Ooh.
who I was talking to on through Twitter, and she actually left us a review, and it's fucking awesome. I should say they left us a review. And I am so sorry. I don't know if it's Brypo or Brepo, but it's Brypo or Brepo Benjamin. They said that we are punny. They said they're creative with their love of Nicolas Cage, using puns and movie quotes he was in. You could tell these people are good friends, which makes it fun to listen to. And fun fact, we can't stand each other.
I can't wait for this episode to end so I can go back to resenting you.
The reason we don't record all in one room is because of all those restraining orders.
These episodes are
Because
carefully
we rage.
reconstructed.
We rage against the dying of the light.
That's right.
But yeah, thank you so much, and we greatly appreciate your review, and we're so happy to have you on board. Welcome to Cage's Kiss. And, so
When you
with
hear your
that,
family.
check out something like that.
Here's your breadsticks.
Check out. Cage's Kiss does not endorse Olive Garden.
Or Ruby
Please
Tuesdays.
listen, or Diamond Tuesdays. Please listen, follow, rate, and review Cage's Kiss on Apple Podcast. And please check out my other podcast, Bed Nubs and Broomflicks. And that's BROOMFLICKS. Check it out. We talk about witches in entertainment and in history, and we also talk about those awesome animals with our favorite familiar segments. And also check me out. I'm in Dispatches of Disassociation. that is it was actually created by our friend Kristen,
Oh.
who yeah, good friend. And I play the character Lila, and I may possibly be playing a coworker in the future. So Adrian, what you got?
Oh, the usual. I'm on the Mangled DeviantArt as Leo the Fox, LeoTheFox, all one word, all run together, all lowercase. And I am getting artworks in there despite the fact that the site has seen better days. I am also on Patreon under the same thing, and you're getting the super double secret artworks there. And I do have a YouTube under AA Smith. I've got some updates in mind for that. Bear with me. And
I'm a contributor, and it's really good.
Thank you.
It's really definitely worth it.
yeah, when I get my shit on there, it's okay.
Yeah.
No, I really
That
like
might
it.
that might be more of a resource going forward, since the DA, despite getting updates, is still
Mm.
fairly inflexible.
I mean, I know I'm biased, but
You
I
are
really
biased.
am.
Yeah.
I know, but I really am a fan of your artwork. It's my style.
Yeah. If you
And I think
if you
it's
like weird Peter Maxed out batshit fantasy images of naked dudes in department stores, then go for it.
It's your thing.
Now what you wanna know?
Jesus. Your way, right away.
Octawhopper?
Hopeless case.
Shit, I hadn't thought about that in a long time.
I know, right? It was an awesome game. I am
Yeah.
Unreal Goals on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, as well as various other platforms. I also am the boy who blew over on Pornhub. Come check me out, but don't look at my history list. It's naughty, naughty, naughty.
Down and dirty.
And I also have coming out very soon, hopefully, we keep promising, Wisdom in the Bottle. It's little rants that I've been doing. They're about 2.5 to 3 hours in length, which I do really, really drunkenly.
Some of us
Not
have
gonna say it's
actually
good,
started working on
but-
artwork for that.
Yes, somebody did, and it looks fucking amazing.
Somebody did somewhere. We don't know who.
Somebody's getting married. So yeah,
God,
that's
I could
all
really
I've got
use some
aside
money.
crippling depression.
Yeah.
Wahoo! You'll be hearing from us next week when we cover The Runner, which is available streaming for free on Netflix.
What's so funny? I liked Arnold Schwarzenegger in that.
Took myself to the lost and found. Ooh, she made me a hand-me-down. Never
Oh,
know
no.
when to come around. What
Oh,
I'd say.
no.
And yeah, also we promised you big news in the last
we?
episode. There was a little hitch this week, but I will tell you part of it. We have a new host. We have a
What?
fourth
host.
What?
page.
A fourth Beatle? That is impossible. I demand the recount.
Is it you?
Is
Could be.
Well, yeah.
Stay tuned to find out.
Is life?
We've been-
No, Demarest.
During me and Adrian's annual docking we do once a week, we started
yeah.
deciding to include Linda in on this and rubbing toxic
Huh?
waste over ourselves. And that's how we ended up morphing a fourth co-host.
It started out as an extra head on one of our shoulders that was of a different ethnicity. It was wacky.
Well, to be fair, this is the second iteration. The first iteration kept saying "kill me."
Yeah, and random shit like start the reactor.
Yeah.
Quaid, open your mind.
Or just screaming basket case.
That pretty much is the new co-host.
Yep, they fit right in.
Sure that they'll appreciate that.
They get carried around by in a basket.
Yeah. We love you.
Because they've got
Uh,
personality.
Personality.
That's right. Well, they sent in their best man, and tomorrow it's gonna be their best man that's leading the charge. From the neck up, on the hood of my car.
And until then, the toilet is
The
broken.
toilet is broken.
Cage. Cage. Peach. I could eat a peach for hours. Please.